You know, there are Fridays, and then there are Fridays.
That sounds ominous. Or, expensive.
A little bit of both, maybe.
Mm.
I'm looking at the calendar. It is Friday, January 30, 2026, and I feel like I'm standing in the middle of a very busy intersection in Mumbai.
Okay.
And the traffic lights have just, decided to stop working. But instead of cars, it's just these massive conflicting headlines careening into each other.
Well, keep your arms inside the vehicle. What's the collision looking like from where you're standing?
It's the sheer volume, but it's also the contradiction,
Mm.
I'm trying to process box office numbers that frankly look like typos. They're so big.
Right.
And at the same time, I'm reading about a movie that has literally zero dialogue.
The silent film, yeah.
Exactly. I'm seeing the biggest action stars in the country blowing things up, and then I'm seeing the music industry kind of imploding in this very polite, passive-aggressive way.
Uh-huh.
It's overwhelming. My browser tabs are staging a mutiny.
I think you need to close the laptop for a second and just, breathe.
I can't close it. The news is still loading.
Listen, I get it. It feels chaotic. But if you actually stop flailing and look at the stack of stories we have today, it's not just random noise.
It's not.
No, there's a texture to it. I'd argue today is actually a perfect snapshot of the Indian entertainment industry in 2026 because it captures all the extremes.
The extremes.
Think about it. We have the loud versus the quiet. We have the jungle tigers versus the zoo tigers, and we'll get to that metaphor later. It's a really good one.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We have the battle between spectacle and substance, or at least what people think is substance. And then sort of underneath all of it, there's this constant tension between artistic freedom and corporate control.
Okay, when you frame it like that, it sounds less like a traffic accident and more like an ecosystem.
A very competitive ecosystem, a jungle, if you will.
I like that. So we're going on a safari.
In a manner of speaking, yes. And we have a very full menu for this deep dive. So we need to tackle this systematically, or we're just going to get lost in the weeds.
All right, you're the guide. Where do we even begin?
We have to start where the biggest fight is, the battlefield, the box office.
Okay.
We have the clash between Mardani 3 and the absolute juggernaut that is Border 2. Then we need to move from the theater to the living room to talk OTT, specifically the whole Durandar situation.
Oh, the mute button debate. I have thoughts. Many thoughts.
I'm sure you do. Then we need to talk about the sound of friction. There is a massive debate happening in the music industry with A.R. Rahman, Amal Malik, and it goes way deeper than just who sings what.
It's about the whole system.
It's about who owns the pipeline. And finally,
The people.
the heartbeats, the people. We've got updates on Alia Bhatt, Sonam Kapoor, and that fascinating debate about stardom I mentioned. Plus, look at the future with some huge project announcements. Varanasi.
Okay, that sounds manageable. Let's start with the money. Let's start with the explosion. Let's talk Border 2.
The box office battleground.
So we're in week 2 of this film. And I remember when the first Border came out. I was a kid, but I remember the impact. But this. Border 2 seems to be operating in a whole different stratosphere.
It really is. Let's just look at the raw data first, just to ground ourselves. It's day 8. It's a Friday.
Right.
Usually by the second Friday, a film starts to cool down a bit. The initial hype is gone, people are back to work. Border 2 earned 11 crore rupees yesterday, just on its 8th day.
11 crore on a second Friday. That's an opening day number for a lot of quote-unquote hit movies.
That's my point. And that pushes the total domestic collection to 320 crore.
320 crore in 8 days. I'm trying to wrap my head around that number. That's not just a hit, is it? It's a movement.
I think mania is probably the right word. You have to understand the mechanics of why this is happening. It's not just that it's a big action movie. We have plenty of those. This is specifically the Paulten effect.
The Paulten. You mean the cast?
The cast! Yes. Look at how they engineered this lineup. You have Sunny Deol at the very front. He is the anchor. He represents that old-school, chest-thumping, unironic patriotism.
Yes.
When he screams, it vibrates in the genetic memory of an entire generation who grew up on the original border and, gave...
That Hindustan Zindabad frequency.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But then they didn't just leave it there. They brought in Varun Dhawan.
Okay, so that brings in the younger, more urban crowd who maybe find Sunny a little bit too retro. Exactly.
Then you have Ahan Shetty for the Gen Z action junkies. And crucially, Diljit Dosanjh.
Diljit is the cheat code right now.
Yeah.
He really is. You put Diljit in anything, and you unlock a massive demographic, not just in Punjab, but globally.
Yeah.
I mean, the man's a global icon.
So when you combine Sunny and Varun and Diljit, you aren't just casting a movie, you are building a coalition. You are making sure that every single quadrant of the audience has a reason to buy a ticket. It's demographic engineering at its finest.
Like the Avengers of aggressive patriotism.
In a way. And it proves that nostalgia, when you weaponize it with modern production values, and we're talking huge scale here, is pretty much unbeatable.
The audience just wants to feel powerful.
They want to see their heroes win and win loudly.
But, okay, that brings us to the casualty of this war, or at least the collateral damage. Rani Mukherjee. Mardani 3.
Right.
Now, I love the Mardani franchise. Shivani Shivaji Roy is an iconic character. She's fierce. She's no nonsense. But releasing right now against this tsunami.
It's a classic David versus Goliath situation, but unfortunately Goliath brought a tank this time. Mardani 3 released today, January 30th, and the reviews are generally positive. People love Rani, obviously.
Of course.
But the opening numbers are being described as disappointing relative to the competition.
Crushed was the word I saw in one headline, which feels a little mean.
It's harsh, but in terms of market share, it's probably accurate. It did open slightly better than Mardani 2, which I guess is the silver lining. It shows the franchise has its loyalists.
It does.
But it's just struggling for oxygen because Border 2 is sucking all the air out of the room. But there's a deeper issue here than just screen count, I think.
What's that?
It's the spectacle versus substance debate, or rather how that substance is delivered. Did you happen to read the review from the Quint?
I did, and I have to be honest, I winced when I read it. They called the film a PowerPoint presentation on patriarchy.
That is a brutal description.
It is, because you want to root for the movie,
Yeah.
right? You want to root for a film that tackles serious issues, that talks about women's safety and systemic rot. But PowerPoint presentation, I mean, that implies it's a lecture. It implies I'm back in a classroom.
And that, I think, is the fatal flaw of the modern message movie. Audiences in 2026 are incredibly smart. They are media literate. They know when they are being preached to. If a character stops the entire narrative flow just to deliver a 3-minute monologue explaining why patriarchy is bad, the audience checks out. They might agree with the sentiment, but they reject the method of delivery.
It's the show don't tell rule, isn't it? Basic screenwriting.
It's rule number 1. Look at Border 2. It's not explaining war to you. It's not giving you a lecture on geopolitics. It's throwing you into the trench. It's visceral. It's an experience.
Right.
Mardani 3, if we go by that critique, seems to be relying on exposition. It's telling you what to feel instead of making you feel it through the story, through the action.
That's such a tricky balance, though. Because if
Yeah.
you don't have the dialogue, people might miss the point. But if you have too much, it just becomes a sermon.
It is difficult, but I think the box office numbers are telling us something very clear. Right now, people would rather go to the recess playground, that is Border 2,
Yeah.
than the civics class, that is Mardani 3, even if the civics class is really important.
It's a tough lesson for filmmakers.
Yeah.
You can't just have the moral high ground. You have to have the cinematic high ground, too.
Yeah.
You have to make the medicine taste like candy, or at least make the delivery system exciting.
Well said. And speaking of delivery systems, let's switch gears. We leave the cinema hall, we drive home, we put on our pajamas, and we turn on the TV.
Ugh, OTT. My safe space. No parking hassles. No overpriced popcorn.
Usually a safe space. But today the living room is a battleground of its own. We need to talk about Dhurandhar.
Okay, yes. Dhurandhar has landed on Netflix.
Yeah.
And can we just start with the good news? Because the movie itself is actually getting a lot of love now that it's more accessible.
It is. It's having that classic second life that streaming provides for films. When it was in theaters, the conversation was a bit mixed, wasn't it?
It was.
But now, people are really appreciating the performances.
Specifically, that dynamic between Ranveer Singh and Akshay Khanna.
Yes. Initially, the hot take was that Akshay Khanna, playing the antagonist Raman Dakait, just completely ate Ranveer up, that he stole the movie.
Which, to be fair, Akshay Khanna has a tendency to do. If you let him smirk at the camera, he's stealing the scene. It's like a law of physics.
It is a known law of physics, yes. But now, with repeated viewings, the online discourse is evolving. People are realizing that Ranveer's performance is actually very disciplined. He's grounding the film so that Akshay can be that flamboyant, over-the-top villain. It's a tennis match. You need someone to return the serve.
And you can't talk about Dhurandhar without talking about the nostalgia factor. The Rambaho fever.
Kalpana Iyer.
She is 70 years old.
Yeah.
70. and she recreated her iconic song, and the video is just, it's pure joy. I saw that and I thought, okay, getting older doesn't mean you have to stop being cool.
It's a lovely cultural moment. It
Lovely.
really is. It bridges the gap between the 80s generation and the Gen Z kids who are discovering that song for the first time on Reels. It's
Yeah.
just, it's wholesome.
And here comes the giant muted censored BUT.
The actual experience of watching the movie on Netflix has been frustrating, to put it mildly.
This is the controversy of the day, and it's a really significant one because it touches on consumer rights and artistic integrity. Durandar is an A-rated film.
Which means adults only. It's supposed to be for adults. Right. It's gritty, it's violent, and the characters speak like criminals are supposed to speak. They use abusive language. That is the texture of the world the director built. But the version that is streaming on Netflix right now.
It's the Sanskari cut. It's the TV edit you'd see on a Sunday afternoon.
Essentially, yes. Fans are furious. They are reporting muted dialogues, obvious cuts where abusive language was used, and there are reports that nearly 10 minutes of footage has been shaved off the film.
10 minutes? That's not a trim, that's an amputation. That could be a whole subplot gone.
It completely changes the rhythm and the flow of the film, and the question everyone is asking is, why?
Exactly. This is my biggest pet peeve. I understand if this was airing on, say, Z Cinema at 2:00 p.m. on a Sunday where kids might be watching, fine, censor it.
Sure.
But this is Netflix. I pay a premium subscription fee. I have to log in. I have to put in a PIN code for the adult profile. I have specifically opted in for adult content. So why am I being treated like a child?
It's the paradox of Indian streaming in 2026. A few years ago, OTT was the Wild West. You could do anything, Sacred Games, Mirzapur, it was completely uncensored.
Right.
But now, the pendulum has swung pretty far in the other direction.
But why? Is it the government? Is it the platform just getting scared?
It's a mix, but a lot of it seems to be preemptive corporate caution. The platforms are terrified of lawsuits. They are terrified of hurting sentiments and getting dragged into court or having FIRs filed against their executives.
So instead of fighting for the content,
They are self-censoring. They are delivering the safest possible version to avoid any trouble.
but they are ruining the product. It breaks the immersion completely. You're watching an intense standoff, the tension is high, a character is about to scream something raw and emotional in silence, or a weird jump cut. It takes you right out of the story. It reminds you that you're watching a compromised product, not art.
It does, and it poses a real danger for the future of the medium. If the OTT version becomes just as sanitized as the theatrical version or the satellite version, then what is the USP?
Exactly. Why pay for Netflix if I'm just getting the cable TV edit?
The promise was always uncut and ad-free.
Now it's muted and fearful. It just feels like a betrayal of the contract with the audience. And a film like Durandar, its whole vibe is that restless energy, that grit. If you sand down all the rough edges, you don't have a smooth gem, you just have a boring pebble.
Well, speaking of Netflix, they are celebrating their 10-year anniversary in India this week.
Oh, that's right. They've got Shah Rukh Khan doing promos, thanking the fans. It's been a crazy decade, hasn't it?
It really has. Think about it. 10 years ago, we were still figuring out buffering speeds on our laptops. Now, streaming is the primary way a huge chunk of the population consumes content. It has changed the industry from the ground up.
And the content churn just never stops. There's always something new dropping. I saw the making of video for Tariq Main with Dhanush and Kriti Sanon.
Anand El Rai's new film, that looks intense.
It does. Dhanush has that ability to look like he's in physical pain when he's in love. It's his superpower.
It is, and we're seeing the window between theater and digital shrink even more. The Telugu film Nari Nari Naduma Murari, it just released on January 14th.
Wow.
It's barely been 2 weeks, and it's already heading to OTT.
That's so fast. If you blink, you miss the theatrical run.
It's the new economic reality. If a film doesn't explode like Border 2 in the first weekend, the producers rush to cash in on that streaming deal while the marketing is still fresh in people's minds.
And I saw a teaser for the Kerala Story 2 also drop.
Oh, yes. Aditi Bhatia and Ulka Gupta. Fighting conversion, that is. Well, that is going to be another storm of online discourse.
I can already see the Twitter threads forming as we speak.
Indeed. But let's move from the visual censorship and the streaming wars to the audio friction. Because if you think the movie fans are mad about the mute button, you should see what's happening in the music industry right now. It is tense.
This A.R. Rahman situation, this feels different. Rahman sir is usually so quiet. He lets the music do the talking. If he is coming out and giving interviews about bias, Something is seriously wrong in the machine.
It is significant. So recently, Rahman made comments about a communal bias in Bollywood. He basically suggested that there are gangs working against him, preventing him from getting work in Hindi films because of his identity or his background.
That is a heavy, heavy accusation, especially coming from the Mozart of Madras.
It is. But today we have a rebuttal. And it's not from a studio exec or a producer. It's from another composer, Amal Malik. And I want to dig into this because Amal's take is very, very nuanced. He didn't just say Rahman is wrong.
Where did he say that?
He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that Rahman is only showing the tip of the iceberg. He argued that the problem isn't communal, it's corporate.
Okay, unpack that for me. Corporate how?
Amal's direct quote was, labels work only with their artists. And this brings us to the concept of vertical integration.
That sounds like something from an economics textbook.
It is, but it affects every single song you hear on the radio. In the old days, a producer made a movie. He hired a composer, say, like A.R. Rahman. The composer made the songs. Then they would sell the rights to a music label like T-Series or Sony to distribute the cassette or the CD.
Simple enough. Made sense.
But now, the music labels are the producers. We saw that headline in the research. Music labels enter film. Companies that started out just selling music are now producing the entire movie.
Okay, so the music company is making the movie from start to finish.
Exactly. So imagine you are the head of a music label. You have signed a bunch of young singers and composers to what they call 360 deals. This means you own their voice, their touring rights, their publishing everything. You pay them a salary or a small fee, but you keep the lion's share of any profit.
Right. You own the artist.
You basically own the artist. Now, you are producing a movie. Are you going to go out and hire A.R. Rahman, who charges a premium fee, keeps his own copyright, and is a powerful, independent entity? Or are you going to use the 3 kids you have sitting in your basement studio who you're already paying a salary to?
You use the kids in the basement. It's cheaper, and you keep all the money in-house.
Precisely. It's a walled garden, a fortress. And A.R. Rahman is an outsider to this new system because he is too big to be owned. So when he says he's not getting work, Amal is saying, it's not because of who you pray to, sir. It's because you don't belong to the label that owns the movie.
That is actually scarier in a way, because if it was just pure prejudice, you could fight that socially. You could call it out. But if it's just cold, hard, good business sense to lock out independent artists, how do you fight the business model?
You can't. Not easily. And that's why you see this frustration boiling over. Amal is saying the monopoly is the real villain here. Rahman is feeling the heat, but so is everyone else who isn't owned by one of the major labels.
And we're seeing a lot of industry folks chiming in on this, right? I saw Rani Mukherjee, Kanganad, Shaved Akhtar.
Yes, they've voiced opposition to the specific communal characterization, Rani, called Bollywood the most secular place, but none of them are denying the label monopoly issue. That is the elephant in the room that everyone acknowledges.
It just reminds me of that quote from Vishal Mishra today. He released his new album, Pagalpan. There's a song on it called Kia Batan Tujhe. And he said the song comes from a very restless place.
Restless is the perfect adjective for the music industry right now, isn't it? You have artists like Vishal who want to break boundaries. He's talking about mixing international sounds with Indian roots, trying to do something new.
Yeah.
But the corporate side is tightening the screws. They want safe, predictable hits. They want remixes. They want control.
It's creative suffocation.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining a young A.R. Rahman trying to break into the industry today. Would he even get a chance to make Roja? Or would a label exec say, sorry, kid, too weird, just remake an old Punjabi hit for us and we'll call it a day?
That is the chilling question. If the entire system is designed to exclude independent thought, where does the next genius come from?
Man, that's depressing.
It is a bit, but it connects perfectly to our next segment. Because this tension between the wild, unpredictable creative spirit and the managed, safe corporate cage isn't just happening in music, it's happening to the stars themselves.
Yes. The Tigers.
The Tigers.
I laughed out loud when I read this. The producer Shailendra Singh gave an interview to Siddharth Kannan, and he dropped this absolute gem of a metaphor about Salman Khan.
Salman Khan was a jungle tiger, now he's a zoo tiger.
It's so vivid, it's hilarious, but also kind of deep. What does he actually mean by that?
Think about 90s Salman, or even early 2000s Salman. The shirtless guitar playing in Pyar Kiya to Darnakaya, the unpredictable interviews, the raw, unpolished energy.
Right.
He was dangerous in a way. He was a jungle tiger. You didn't know what he was going to do next. He roamed free.
He was wild.
And now, look at him in 2026. He's the host of Big Boss. He's a massive brand. He's carefully managed. He's surrounded by a team of PR people and lawyers and managers. He's still powerful. A tiger is still a tiger, even in captivity, but he's in the zoo.
The environment is controlled. The feeding times are set. The tourists come to watch him through the glass.
Exactly. He's an institution now, not a rebel. And what Shailendra Singh is pointing out is that this is the trajectory of modern fame. You start wild, but to survive this long, to stay at the top, you eventually have to enter the zoo. You have to become a corporate entity.
It's safer in the zoo. You get fed regularly, but you definitely lose the freedom.
And we see this tension with other stars, too. Look at Alia Bhatt.
Yes, we have this update from her today. She's giving interviews about her life, about motherhood, about her daughter Raha, and she admitted she wants to quit social media at times.
She's at the absolute peak of her career. She is arguably the biggest female star in the country, and yet she's fantasizing about the exit door.
She wants privacy. She wants to protect her child from all that scrutiny.
She feels the walls of the zoo. Social media is the glass enclosure. Everyone is tapping on the glass, 2000/7. Show us the baby. Show us the outfit. Say something about this controversy. It must be completely exhausting.
It's the cost of the ticket, I guess. But then you have Rani Mukherjee again, providing the counter-narrative. In her interview today, she defended the industry. She said, Bollywood is a place where merit matters.
It's an optimistic view, and coming from Rani, I believe she truly believes it. She is incredibly talented. Her merit is undeniable.
For sure.
But juxtapose that with what we just discussed about the music industry.
Right. If the labels only hire their own people, does merit matter? Or does access matter more?
Exactly. Rani is an insider. She's royalty in the industry. So from inside the fortress, it probably looks like a meritocracy. But if you're standing outside the gate, like those independent musicians, it looks very, very different.
That's a fair point. Perspective is everything. But hey, it's not all existential dread in the zoo. Some people are having a great time.
Who are you thinking of?
Sonam Kapoor. She was at a fashion event today flaunting the baby bump, and she looked incredible.
She always does. Fashion is her domain.
But it connects back to Alia, doesn't it? This open celebration of motherhood. It used to be that actresses had to hide their pregnancies. It was seen as a career ender. Oh, she's a mom now. She can't be a heroine anymore.
Right. They would hide away for 9 months and then try to reemerge like nothing happened.
But Sonam is out there making it a fashion statement. It's a power move. It's saying, I'm a mother and I'm a star and look at this amazing outfit. It's reclaiming the narrative.
It's a healthy shift. The zoo is getting a bit more accommodating to real life, it seems.
And speaking of power moves,
Yeah.
we have to talk about Rupali Ganguly, Anupama.
Oh, God. The dialogue.
I tried to say it earlier and I completely butchered it.
Guma Guma Marungi.
I will spin you around and hit you. It sounds so much better in Hindi. It's
Yeah.
very kinetic.
It's everywhere. My social media feed is just full of memes of that line. Fans are calling it 50 Shades of Anupama. It's gone completely viral. It's a reminder of the sheer power of television. We spend so much time analyzing box office numbers, but a TV star like Rupali Ganguly can dominate the cultural conversation just as hard as a film star.
That's true.
When she delivers a line, it lands in millions of living rooms instantly.
Yeah.
She is a tiger who knows how to roar, even if it's on the small screen.
And before we leave this celebrity gossip column, we have to mention Tripti Dimri.
The national crush. What's the latest update?
Well, the internet is playing detective again. She posted a sweet birthday message for Sam Merchant. So now the rumors are swirling. Are they? Aren't they? You know how it is.
They always are squirreling. But I saw something else about Tripti today that I liked a lot more.
What's that?
Shahid Kapoor praised her. He commended her role in O Romeo. He talked about her dedication and her craft.
That's good to hear. It's easy to get lost in all the romance rumors and forget that she's actually a very solid actor. She really delivers.
Which brings us to the final leg of our safari. We've looked at the present battles, the current stars. Now let's look at the future. Because if you look at what is coming down the pipeline, the industry is betting on two very different horses: massive, earth-shattering scale and experimental silence.
Let's start with the scale. Let's talk Varanasi.
The release date is officially out today.
Oh, wait.
And just look at the names attached to this project.
Priyanka Chopra Jonas, S.S. Rajamouli, Mahesh Babu,
That is not just a cast list. That is a geopolitical strategy.
Explain.
You have Priyanka Chopra, the global icon, the bridge to Hollywood. You have S.S. Rajamouli, the man who made RRR, the master of spectacle, the only director whose name sells tickets in Japan and America.
Okay.
And you have Mahesh Babu, the superstar of Tollywood, who brings that massive, loyal South Indian fan base.
It's the ultimate crossover. North, South, and West, all in one film.
It's a trifecta. The poster is out, it's mysterious, it's building hype. This is clearly their answer to the global blockbuster. They aren't just trying to win the Indian box office, they are trying to win the world. They want that Avatar money.
And then there's King, the Shah Rukh Khan and Suhana Khan project. We got a production update today that made my jaw drop.
The budget for the action sequence?
Yes, 50 crore rupees.
Yeah.
For one sequence?
Directed by Siddharth Nand, of course. He does love to blow things up in style.
But think about that number. 50 crores is the entire budget of a mid-sized film. They are spending that on one chase scene.
It raises the question of sustainability, doesn't it? We are in an arms race with Hollywood. To get people into theaters, the industry feels they have to offer something you cannot get on your phone. You have to offer these 50-crore spectacles. You have to offer visuals that just melt your eyeballs.
But the risk.
Yeah.
I mean, if that movie flops, the crater it leaves behind is massive. It could bankrupt a studio.
It's high-stakes gambling. They are betting everything on big.
But then, and this is why I love this industry, look at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Look at what was released today, January 30th, Gandhi Talks.
A silent movie in the year 2026.
Starring Vijay Sethupathi, Aditi Rao Hidari, and Arvind Swamy. With music by guess who?
A.R. Rahman.
The very man who is allegedly being blocked is scoring the silent film. It's poetic.
And the netizens are loving it. The early reviews are all saying must watch.
This gives me hope. In the same week that we have Border 2 making 320 crores with loud explosions and headlines about a 50 crore action scene in King, we have a silent film trending.
It speaks to the range of Indian cinema, doesn't it? We aren't just one thing. We are everything. We have room for the noise and we have room for the silence.
And think about the acting challenge for someone like Vijay Sethupathi. To hold an audience's attention in 2026 without speaking a single word, that takes serious guts.
It does, and the fact that the cast was on the Great Indian Kapil Show promoting it shows that it's being treated as a mainstream release. It's not just some obscure art house project hiding away in a film festival. It's out there for the public.
I love that. I want to see that. I want to see Vijay Sethupathi say nothing and express absolutely everything.
And there are other interesting projects bubbling up under the surface, too. Did you catch the review for Velavara?
Sudkan Gowda's film. Yes, Broadway Ring and reviewed it.
He called it earnest and watchable. It's a story about a farmer, money, and anger.
A grounded story, a real story.
Exactly. It might have some tonal inconsistencies. It's not perfect, but it's real. It's not a 50-crore spectacle, but it's telling a human story about the struggle for survival.
And the trailer for Shabad Horiwaz, Suvendra Vicky as a strict father, Mihir Ahuja as the footballer's son.
Generational trauma, another universal theme. So under the canopy of these massive blockbusters, these human stories are still sprouting. The ecosystem is still functioning.
It really is a jungle out there.
It is. A jungle with tigers, both wild and zoo-kept, with loud explosions and silent films.
Okay, we have covered a lot. From 300 crores to mute buttons to 50-crore chase scenes, I need a palate cleanser. Give me something light before we go.
How about a little lesson in negotiation from Shark Tank?
Oh, always. What happened?
So, Aman Gupta, our favorite boat rocker, apparently overplayed his hand.
Imagine that.
He was negotiating hard with the pitcher for a 300-crore company. He was pushing, trying to get a better deal, and the pitcher just ignored him.
Ignored him, like ghosted him in person on national television.
The pitcher literally said exit speech to Dende, which means let me at least give my exit speech. Basically, I'm done with you, I'm out, let me just leave.
That is bold. You don't usually see people shut down a shark like that. Usually they are begging for any deal.
It's a lesson for the whole industry, I think. Whether you are a music label squeezing an artist, or a censor board cutting a film, or a shark trying to lowball a founder, don't negotiate so hard that you lose the room. Don't push the talent so far that they just walk away.
That is surprisingly profound advice to end on.
I try my best.
So looking back at today, January 30, 2026, what's the final verdict? What is the vibe?
It's a day of contrasts. It's Border 2 versus Marani 3. It's loud action versus silent films. It's censorship versus that restless artistic energy we talked about.
And honestly, I'm here for it. As long as the music is still playing, even if the labels are fighting over who owns the speakers, and as long as we have 70-year-olds dancing to Ramba Ho and silent movies capturing our imagination, the industry is alive.
It's messy, it's chaotic, but it's definitely alive.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's our cue to head out into the traffic.
Indeed. Drive safe.
From headlines to heartbeats, you've been listening to Bollywood Dive In by IndiaRevue.com. Catch you where the stories are.